Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy 3-hour program lined up today. A couple of professional sports bettors talking college football. One, Brad Powers, in 30 minutes. And he was telling you 4 weeks on X, and he came on this show as well. Get down on Notre Dame to miss the playoffs. Had to be a good feeling for him because a lot of people told him that he was going to be wrong. Ultimately, he was proven right. Plus, what does he like in bowl games and with the playoffs set? Paul Stone in 90 minutes as well. A couple of best bets out of him. And Derek Stevens, who is the owner and the CEO of this great property, his normal 6:30 Eastern slot on a Tuesday. We'll get to look-ahead numbers for Week 16 in the National Football League, Paulie. We have pizzeria bets. And a lot to get into from last night's action and moving forward for tonight's betting card as well. How would you describe that game overall last night? That was something else. Sloppy as all get out. And it depends on what side of the aisle you were on, because I know people were pissed off who had the over.
Yeah.
That's a 10-6 game at halftime. Chargers went on a 9.5-minute drive to begin the third quarter and settled for a field goal. I don't know if that game had any business touching 41 points last night.
Yep. Number one, I can't believe the Eagles lost. It was a car crash, 8 turnovers, 9 field goals. Somehow the Chargers win. The dump off to Vidal was the longest play of their passing attack. Keenan Allen was the second leading receiver. He had 2 catches.
Yeah.
They couldn't get anything going. Their best offense was Herbert taking off and running, which was self-preservation because no one could get open.
7 sacks.
Right, and he's under duress, right? I can't believe it. I also couldn't believe his attitude with Rutledge after the game as well. How's your hand? Oh, good. Thanks for asking. Okay.
But he didn't even look happy after they won.
I want to talk to him. I want to go celebrate with my teammates. It's in the contract. You have to do it. He didn't want to talk to him.
Yeah, but did you see his reaction after they actually picked him off and the game was over with?
No, I missed it.
Oh, my God. He didn't even have a reaction at all.
Wow.
It looked like it was 3rd down and 10, and they just gave up a long completion on defense. I'm like, that's his wow, okay, all right.
Interesting fella, yes. Well, as we talked about yesterday, they had to have it because the schedule's so difficult. And then it's just a tire fire in Philly, which several people have pointed it out, but it's going to be very uncomfortable moving forward every home game. And God forbid it's a home playoff game as well. I think they'll hang on to the division. Still, the door is open for Dallas. But with his Hurts, how bad he's playing, you finally get Barkley going. You finally get Brown involved, and then he lets you down with 2 drops.
Yep.
And they lose the game again, and the defense balls out. And you still lose.
So I'm pretty confident in saying the Eagles are going to lose at least 2 more games.
Ooh.
The problem is I don't know if Dallas is going to win out with their schedule.
Okay.
They're going to lose at Buffalo, and I would not be stunned if the Commanders get them in one of the final 4 games of their season either.
Yeah.
But then they need Dallas to win every one of their games to then lose this division, and I don't know if Dallas is capable of doing that or not. Maybe they are. Maybe they can, but they got a couple of roadblocks in there as well. That's not going to make it super easy. But this team is just a complete disaster. The offense is anyway. And that wasn't all on Hurts last night, but a lot of it was. And there is going to be a documentary made. Books might be written on this team going back 4 years ago to the end of this season. Made the Super Bowl, lost against the Chiefs. It started 10-1 the year after and completely collapsed in 2023, got blown out by Tampa Bay. Last year, bounced back, won the whole thing going away, and this year, a repeat of 2023. Somebody's going to write something here and explain exactly what the hell happened in 2 of these big-time bad seasons that they've had.
Yep. Number one, he won't take off and run and scramble, and I don't know what's going on with the passing attack, and Sal Pell nailed it as well. But this is just, to say plus 950, to miss the playoffs, it's not outrageous, and they could blow the division. When it's happened before. It happened to the Denver Broncos, and we've seen this team implode just a couple years ago. So Chargers were begging to get beat. Philly defense was so good. All the turnovers they forced, and then Hurts just gives it back, and we saw history with what he did, which I agree with Mike Florio. If that's a fumble by Hurts, that's a touchdown with likely. It's the same thing,
yeah, right?
I
know.
It's laughable, some of these rules, but in any event, they should not be 8-5. And this season could get away from them quickly.
What do you think they should be with their record?
God, with how well the defense has played in some of the Dallas game they blew this game last night.
I think you can flip it and say they should be 6-7.
Oh, with the close wins?
Should have lost to Green Bay. Should have lost or could have lost to Detroit. Their defense played out of their minds. Their offense did nothing in either one of those games.
Yeah.
So thank God the defense balled out in those two spots.
Yeah.
How many times if they played Green Bay 10 times are they going to limit them to 7 points? How many times if they played Detroit will the same thing happen? You know, I mean, maybe they do it a couple of times, but their defense saved their bacon. I think multiple times this year. Mm-hmm. And Paul, I mean, we have 4 weeks left. The offense is, with their schedule, like they should absolutely murder the Raiders this weekend.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Yeah. That's right, though. That's the other thing. If it's 7-3 in the second quarter and they're playing with their food, the fans are going to be out for blood.
No doubt.
And it's going to be a home field disadvantage. But there are positives to take from it. You got Goddard involved. You got Brown involved. He didn't help you out on a couple. And Barkley went off. So those are the positives there. At least they got something to point to with the offense. Other than that second half against the Rams. It's been a disaster offensively. So you have that. But this is not a lot of confidence moving forward, though.
Now, as for the flip side here with the Chargers winning that game last night, that pretty much did it for the Chiefs. You want to call them dead now or not quite yet?
Life support.
Life support? Okay.
Yeah.
Broncos were minus 1,200 yesterday. What were you going to say?
No, I can't.
I was going to say something.
I
was going to say something. I can't say it on the air either. Okay. But, Denver was minus 1,200. Uh-huh. Because of the win last night by LA, Denver's now minus 650. It did change a little bit here. But as you pointed out yesterday, the Chargers schedule is so difficult. They got that one last night, which they had to have. At KC, at Dallas, the Texans at home, at Denver. My God. You bet them plus 160 to miss. They're plus 260 now to miss. Do you want to add any more now?
Yeah, I think that's a good bet. I like their team. They have weapons. They have a good quarterback and a good defense. But I think that schedule might get them. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win out. And still, I know you're laughing at it, but they're laying 4.5 now with their season on the line Sunday, which the power rating's completely out of whack. That they take money every week and they let you down.
God bless anybody betting them. They might win. They might cover.
Yeah.
That's the last team I think I would bet this weekend. Would be Chiefs laying 4.5.
Yeah. Were you shocked how many times he took off and ran?
Well,
even though I know he didn't have a choice because of the pressure?
So once he took off and ran for 15 yards in that first play, I was like, wow, that looked pretty good. And then I started to wonder, like, is he going to keep doing this? And then once he did it like 2 or 3 more times, I'm like, he's going to have to do it the entire game.
Yeah.
Because
couldn't protect him.
No, could not protect him whatsoever.
Yeah.
And obviously got nothing going in the passing game. So after the first couple of times, actually, this would have been, now thinking about it right now, I never did last night, but betting him live with his player prop, which books will do now more and more these days. I'm sure people saw that and were like, I got to bet him right now to go over, maybe ladder him at that point, 30, 40 yards. He got it all done.
I had it wrong. I agreed with Dr. Chow. I thought they would tell him, don't take off. You just had surgery. You broke your hand 8 days ago. And then you even saw that one play where he was tackled by 2 Eagles. And one of them come in and they're slamming him on his hand, trying to force a fumble, but they kept punching him on his hand. More damage.
Remember, I brought that up on the air when Mateer was hurt and coming back against Texas?
Yeah, right.
And then that week leading into the game, like 4 different analysts on networks, former players were saying, I do the same exact thing. I would try to I'd try to go after the wrist as often as possible.
Yeah.
So clearly that was in the game plan last night for the Eagles defense.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with those comments. You're a peace-loving kind of guy. I didn't know you had that deep down.
No, I just figured that's what they would do.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Oh, we also had another elimination last night.
Now explain this here.
I don't have any more info to update you right now, but this is Sammy the Sadist, the pro poker player, was still alive who cashed in Grandissimo. He was on the Eagles. Word around the campfire was he was kind of dubious about the chop. Can we work this out? I don't know. But the quote is now it'll be easier to chop from one person involved. There are 10 people left. It went from 900 to 10 in 2 weeks. And now the implied value of each entry is $1.8 million. Giddy up. Does it even go this distance? And Christmas is going to be chaos because no one has Denver. No one has Detroit. One person has Kansas City. Only 5 have the Cowboys. So now we're down to 10. And we'll see I hope they can come to an agreement before Sunday and work this out because we're talking it's $18 million.
You want all 10 to agree here to a chop?
I would like that, yes.
1 point. Will anybody say no because they want to see if they can get it down to like 3 or 4 people and then maybe chop.
After what has happened the last 2 weeks?
Imagine.
How can you sit
Look
there?
at this now. After Tampa Bay, 28 people were
Yeah.
taken out with Tampa Bay. I mean, if everybody's going to be on San Francisco this weekend, off the
Or
bye,
Philly, right? Yeah.
and they happen to
Should be-
hit their toe.
Yeah. Should be clear cut. I think 6 have San Francisco and the rest use Philly, and we'll
Yeah.
see if someone steps out. More on that with Derek coming up. But there it is. But I don't know how you watch the last couple of weeks and say, no, I think I have an advantage or an edge. And I don't want to split $18 million 10 ways.
Yeah.
Or at least some, and play for 3 or 4, whatever you want to do.
Here's the other way to look at it is this. So let's say what happened last night. That was the final That was the final game of the year last night. And 10 people split it eventually, and they all won 1 point. Wouldn't they be happy to walk away as one of the 10 winners this year and take home $1.87 million? I would think, yeah, sign me up for that right now.
Because now it's just like, what are you going to do? How much? What's your credit? Your hedging, all that,
Right.
I mean, someone's selling 4% for $92,000. I saw on the website.
Yeah.
So it's like with the implied value here. I'm like, what are we going to do?
You're right. I mean, you reach out to Circa and say, hey, I need $2 million to hedge. Eventually, I need
plus,
I
yeah.
need $750,000 to hedge on the side. I mean,
This also isn't grandissimo. This was $1,000 to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So this all goes back to who saw this coming. It's like you work a 9-to-5 job. Hey, I'm going to take 2 weeks off. I got to get my affairs in order here. They're going to go for that?
right. All right, we're going to discuss the whole idea of betting college bowl games compared to what it used to be like, and a radical idea from a former coach that makes some sense.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
College football here again. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We head out now to the Progressive guest line as professional sports bettor Brad Powers joins the program. Follow him on X at BradPowers7, website BradPowersports.com. Congratulations, man. On this show, on Twitter, every spot where you could finally, tell people, look, Notre Dame's not going to make the playoffs. At this price, you have to bet them. You were taking that number all along. And it doesn't matter what people were telling you on social media. You held your ground. You kept saying, bookmarked, I'm going to come back to this, and I think I'm going to be right. And you were. So what was your reaction to the committee show on Sunday when they said, yeah, Notre Dame, they're not in?
Well, mixed, because I am a Notre Dame fan. Also mixed because, the price, I'm a big CLV guy, and I had negative CLV by the time that show started. Notre Dame, the yes was minus 3,000. I wish I would have waited for a lot of those bets that I made until right before the show started, because I could have gotten 18-1, 20-1 on the no at that point. But it was one of my biggest wins of my career. It's already had the ramifications of me being limited and multiple outs because of it, because I was parlaying them out, Miami in, Alabama in type of stuff. But profitable. But as a Notre Dame fan, as a college football fan, I don't care if it's Notre Dame, if it was Miami or anybody. Sad. The process is, I'm not, the end result, I'm okay. If that was the show and they revealed the rankings, some people would be bitching, but for the most part, I don't think you'd have this vitriol that you have right now. The reality is, whether you thought Notre Dame was in or out, they were in every single ranking show, didn't play a game. The team above them lost in convincing fashion, and yet they got passed up by a team that had been behind them in every single ranking. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
That's a great point. Even Mark Ingram on the pregame show with Fox said no, Alabama should be out. That, and I know you were opinionated on that, to move up by beating Auburn in rivalry game, and you went for it, fourth down and got it, and then you get annihilated and embarrassed and you don't drop as well, even though Georgia, that undefeated Georgia team even, that was so good, lost by 3 points and dropped. That's what you thought was criminal.
Yeah, I had no problem with Miami should have gotten in over Notre Dame. That's not the problem, and I think that's what people are misconstruing. The problem is Alabama getting in. Alabama not dropping. Well, you can't punish a team for losing a conference championship game, except every single conference championship loser gets punished. The last 3 years, there's been 16 of them. 15 dropped in the very next poll, the College Football Playoff rankings. The one exception, Alabama. So Alabama must have played a great game, right? No, they were horrific. -3 yards rushing. Didn't cross midfield to late in the third quarter of the game. So that to me was, that's the issue. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a ton, but I don't think Alabama should have gotten in. And look, Mark Ingram and I think Damian Harris, another former Alabama running back under Saban, I mean, they have to think it's pathetic and disgusting considering their former Alabama running backs -3 yards rushing. I mean, that program's gotten soft. I think they're getting still the benefit of the doubt of the Nick Saban Alabama program.
Correct. Yep.
That program ain't there anymore.
Well said. What's the long-term ramifications with Notre Dame now? You saw the comments. This hurts the relationship with the ACC. Do they join a conference? Does Freeman leave? Run it all down.
Well, I think all of the above, definitely possibility. I do think you don't believe me. I mean, the AD said it. I mean, the relationship with the ACC is strained. I think call him a crybaby, and there was a little bit of that, certainly. But, they are a member in 25 sports of the ACC. They do have a relationship with the ACC in football where they play 5 teams a year. And, they can promote Miami all they want, but they were promoting Miami and also, kind of demoting Notre Dame. So I kind of got that point. Marcus Freeman eventually is going to the NFL, whether it's after this season or 2 years or 3 years from now, he's going to the NFL eventually. But we'll see. I thought it was pretty telling they didn't announce a contract extension in today's press conference. I don't think that's good there. And then, I go back to what happened to Florida State a couple years ago. Not that I'm predicting this for Notre Dame, but man, it was just a devastating blow to the program, what the committee did to them, and they haven't recovered. I'm anxious to see how Notre Dame's priced in the markets because if everything was well, Marcus is back, they keep most of the roster. You look at the schedule, they're going to be the preseason favorite to win it all. But I just wonder if any of this hangs over the program.
So do you think that Miami was still going to get into the playoff if you go back to Saturday night and Virginia actually beat Duke? And then Virginia was the team to get the automatic bid to the ACC. Do you think they would have stuffed Miami in there? Or would they have said, you know what, we're going to keep Notre Dame ahead of the Hurricanes at this point?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I could see both. Boy, that would be that's ridiculous if that's your reasoning. Oh, we have to get an ACC member. I mean, legitimately, also one of the major mess ups here in the last week or so is the ACC conference for allowing a 7-5 Duke team to play for your conference championship. Kudos for them. They won it. But for them to allow that to happen, a lot of this would have went away if Miami was playing on Saturday night. I just can't believe that's how you want to showcase your conference by having a 7-5 team playing your conference championship game. It's pathetic.
How about SEC guys saying Notre Dame would lose 4 or 5 games if they played in the SEC?
Yeah, again, everything's changed in the last couple of years. The SEC is not what it was even a couple of years ago. Hell, they haven't had a team play for the national, let alone win a national championship. They haven't had a team play for the national championship the last 2 years. Since everybody's been allowed to pay players legally, it's just funny that the SEC, in a lot of people's power ratings, the SEC don't have a top 4 team right now. So, including mine. They lost to A&M, but do people they lost by 1 point. With 15 seconds left in the game, it's a 4th and 11, 4th and goal at the 11-yard line. That's a 30% win probability. Otherwise, Notre Dame would have won that game. And, by the way, that would have made Marcus Freeman 5-0 against the SEC in his career at Notre Dame.
Good numbers. Another point. We could have avoided some of these rematches. Why did they put Ole Miss ahead of Texas A&M? I thought that was a good observation you had.
I don't understand it. You look at some of the metrics they use. Forget power ratings. Most power ratings have A&M ahead of Ole Miss, but strength of record, strength of schedule for Texas A&M is superior to Ole Miss. It's okay to dock Ole Miss a little bit. They don't have their head coach. You can't expect them to be fully the 100% team that they were during the season. So they definitely messed that up. And then strategically, we got 2 rematches in 4 games here in the first round. Obviously, Ole Miss is going to beat Tulane. And then you're going to get another rematch, Ole Miss against Georgia. they could have avoided 2 rematches there if they just would have slotted A&M ahead of it. And plus, kind of, okay, we only dropped the Buckeyes at number 2, but if A&M beats Miami, which they're favored to do so, check out that quarterfinal game. It's played in Arlington. Obviously, that benefits A&M playing relatively close to home compared to Ohio State traveling.
Yep. For the record, as of right now, your power ratings, would they show that Notre Dame would be favored over every team in the SEC?
Every team in the SEC. They'd still be about a 2 or 3 point favorite over Georgia.
That much, huh?
And people act like they're shocked by that. Did you watch? Yeah, everyone overreacts. Nobody watches college football on a weekly basis. They just don't. The fans, the media that cover it, the Heisman voters, you name it. Did they miss, maybe that they were in a food coma from Thanksgiving on Black Friday against one of the worst defenses in the Power 4? Georgia managed 16 points. I know that because I bet Georgia in that game. It was a pathetic effort offensively.
Totally agree. What would you make Notre Dame against Alabama?
Notre Dame, Alabama would be about 6.5.
And
if you don't believe me, again, Notre Dame, they opened one of the books opened that line up against Oklahoma. Yep. Notre Dame was 5.5, and right now that line's right around pick'em as far as Notre Dame at Oklahoma compared to Alabama at Oklahoma.
Do you have a best bet or anything you want to share that you bet already with the Bulls or the playoff, please?
Yeah, I did lay it with the 2 big favorites against the G5. There's a big difference. Just the time we start giving, the G5 the benefit of the doubt, the G5 is the weakest it's ever been. This isn't TCU, Boise State, or Utah from 15 years ago. These are not that great of teams. So I laid it with Oregon, still would lay it with Ole Miss and still would lay that. So those are 2 best bets there. I'll give you a national championship. I think Oregon versus Ohio State with the Buckeyes winning it all.
Oregon, interesting.
Ooh,
okay,
good exacta there.
So you would like Oregon? Second round? Texas Tech?
Yeah, I would like them against Texas Tech. Not, all respect to Texas Tech, but I think there's going to be a culture shock. They have played one of the weakest Power 4 strength of schedules in the entire country. And I just, Oregon's played some people. Tech hasn't.
Quickly here, Mendoza, is it over with, or do you think Pavia has a chance to win the Heisman?
No, it's over with. It was over with when he made that 3rd down pass of 100,000 plays in the college football season. It came down to a 3rd down pass against the Buckeyes in the Big Ten championship game.
He went from about a $2 favorite in that neighborhood to minus 2,000 because of that completion.
Yep, one
Crazy.
play.
Well, Brad, congrats on cashing those big tickets with Notre Dame not getting in. Great job and good luck with the bowl season and also the playoffs. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
Yep, there you go. Brad Powers, professional sports bettor. Follow him on X at BradPower7, website BradPowersports.com. Win, lose, up next. Someone found out the hard way playing Wheel of Fortune. Oh boy, I can't wait for the details on this. And some big signings today in Major League Baseball. This is what it looks like when you have $1 zillion, but the team has a weakness.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time for some bets in college football as professional sports bettor Paul Stone joins the program now. Joins us every single Tuesday at this time on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X. He's at Paul Stone Sports. Paul, good afternoon. Thanks for the time. Let's start with Notre Dame and Alabama here. And if you had any of these, you can throw in Miami as well. If you had any of these teams to either make or miss the playoffs, your thoughts overall on it really coming down to Notre Dame against Alabama and not Notre Dame versus Miami to make the playoff. And what would you make the Fighting Irish against Alabama on a neutral?
Well, I'll start with, I did have a ticket on Miami at 4-1 to make the college football playoff. And actually, I was listening to Chris the Bear Felica, a regular guest on VSiN, certainly on Gil's show quite often. I was listening to him on Friday morning with Gil, and he was talking about making the case for Miami at 4-1 to make the playoff. And I was actually in Bossier City, Louisiana, cashing a ticket. So I put some of the proceeds from that ticket on Miami at 4-1. So it certainly pays to listen to VSiN sometimes, and the Bear gets all credit for that. I would make, if Notre Dame and Alabama in their current form were to play on a true neutral this weekend, just off the top of my head, I'd probably make Notre Dame about a 5.5-point favorite. So they would certainly, I don't think anybody that maintains power ratings that has a good formula and a good method would have anything but Notre Dame favored in that matchup. But I will say, it's a very difficult debate between those two schools. Very difficult job. I'll certainly criticize the committee. There are several things I don't like that they did. But on this debate, you've got a Notre Dame team that loses their opener at Miami, with the first-time starting quarterback, redshirt freshman C.J. Carr under center. They lose to Miami in that close game on the late field goal. Then they host Texas A&M in week 3 and lose at home 41-40 in that back-and-forth score fest. So they lose those 2 games. And Notre Dame, everybody on Twitter and on programs such as yours, and there's nothing wrong with it, but everybody's talked about Notre Dame would be favored over this team. They would be favored over that team. And that is absolutely true. But I would also point out, because I keep power ratings and I know how these things are done, I think, Notre Dame's power rating was built on pulverizing lightweights and middleweights. That's how their margin of victory was so significant. They were so impactful in those other 10 games that they were able to establish a very high power rating. They're still good. They would still be a formidable opponent. And it came down to, I think they chose, we're not going to leave out a team playing in the SEC championship. I can see that. A team shouldn't be penalized for their conference champion being in the conference championship game and playing that 13th game. But at the same time, I think I would have selected Notre Dame. You can't unsee what Alabama did in that game against Georgia on Saturday. You can't act like it didn't happen. Same thing with BYU against Texas Tech. It was the same thing the second time around in Arlington for the Cougars, BYU, as it was the first time around in Lubbock. So I would have selected Alabama, or Notre Dame rather, over Alabama as well. But man, I think it was a difficult debate. But Alabama just not playing that well right now, unable to run the ball at all.
Good breakdown. Good job cashing that ticket. On to some of your picks and the games. This did not go well for Tulane. The first time they played Ole Miss. Now you like Ole Miss again, laying a big number against Tulane in the playoff. Tell us why.
We're going to go back to the well with the Ole Miss Rebels against Tulane. Obviously, these two teams have some similarities, and that both head coaches will be going to different schools next year. The difference, obviously, is that Tulane head coach John Sumrall, who's accepted the job at the University of Florida, is going to stay with the Green Wave through the remainder of their playoff run. Meanwhile, Lane Kiffin, his bid to stay as head coach and lead the Rebels in the playoffs was essentially denied by Ole Miss administration. So his bags are packed, and he's in Baton Rouge. They've hired as their permanent head coach for the time being anyway, their former defensive coordinator, Pete Golding. So they've got some continuity there. Their offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss Jr., also has been allowed to stay with Ole Miss on the coaching staff. He'll call plays as he has throughout the season. And then they got a bit of good news last night as well. And you guys maybe have talked about it, but Pete Thamel of ESPN reported that 4 more coaches arrived in Oxford yesterday morning. Their tight ends coach, Joe Cox, their wide receiver coach, George McDonald, assistant quarterback coach, Dane Stevens, and slot wide receiver coach, Sawyer Jordan, all left Baton Rouge for Oxford, and they're going to coach the Rebels through the playoffs. So that's a really a big plus for Ole Miss to have some of those familiar faces calling plays and so forth. And my big concern here is the Tulane is simply outmanned. They're not a great defensive team. Tulane's had some really good football teams the last 6 or 7 years, and I think they've had 2 probably better than this one. And where they're deficient is on defense. You look at that September 20th first meeting between these teams in Oxford. Ole Miss rolls in that game to a 45-10 victory. Trinidad Chambliss was pretty new under center for the Rebels at that point. But in that game, 307 yards passing for Chambliss, 11.4 yards per attempt. He also rushed for 112 yards. So a big game for Chambliss in that particular game. You look at this Tulane defense again, they gave up 31 to South Alabama. They gave up 48 to Texas San Antonio, gave up 32 to Memphis. Phil Steele has a pass efficiency defensive rating system that he publishes in his newsletter. He has Tulane ranked 85th in that, and they're going up against a big-time SEC offense. I want to add as well, we'll remember that game about a month ago, Owen McCowan for UTSA for San Antonio. He didn't hardly throw an incompletion against Tulane. 32 of 34, 391 yards, 11.5 yards per attempt. I think Ole Miss is going to hang at least 45, maybe half 100 on the green wave. I like Ole Miss minus 17 over Tulane in Oxford.
Very strong. Paul Stone, our guest here on the Progressive Guest Line on X at Paul Stone Sports. The quarterfinal numbers are up at some offshore books and some legal books as well. Did anything catch your eye here with potential matchups?
As far as the look ahead lines we're talking about, yeah, I tell you, obviously there's 8 potential matchups that they've put those look ahead lines up on. And the one that really caught my eye, and I think you and Paulie talked about it yesterday, so I'm merely concurring with what you guys said and kind of piggybacking, although this is my original thought as well. But Oregon favored by 2 over Texas Tech at one book in the look aheads. And I just like this Texas Tech team. I mean, we've seen the Red Raiders, I think, in 3 games, is what I kind of boil it down to. The Big 12, probably not quite as deep, especially at the top as it was last year. Still had some really good football teams, but I don't think it was quite as good. But there are 3 prime games this year on September 20th at Utah. They're 3.5-point underdogs. And that's kind of when the Red Raiders first served notice that they were going to be part of this national conversation. I mean, they dominated. I remember Kyle Whittingham after that game. He looked stunned. He said, I just can't believe we were dominated on both lines of scrimmage, and that just doesn't happen around here. Texas Tech beat Utah in Salt Lake City 34-10. Then they host BYU several weeks back there in Lubbock, a big game on the Plains, dominated BYU from start to finish 29-7. BYU gets the rematch 4 weeks later. They play in Arlington, Texas this past Saturday. Texas Tech, again, a 12.5-point favorite. And it was just, same song, second verse. It was almost like a continuum of the game they played in Lubbock on November 8th. The Red Raiders rolled BYU 34-7. And I tell you, when Bayron Morton, their quarterback, is healthy, this is a big-time football team, a great defensive team. Through the years, we've been kind of conditioned to think of Texas Tech as all offense but no defense. Man, they're playing some defense now. And one of their best defensive players, defensive tackle Skylar Gill-Howard, he's been out much of the season, had ankle surgery in mid-October. Joey McGuire, the head coach for Texas Tech, said earlier this week that he could return as early as the college football playoff semifinals. So if he gets in that lineup and he's able to contribute, I wouldn't be surprised to see Texas Tech be the fly in the ointment this year.
Okay.
Very good.
Yep.
In 30 seconds, in a minute, can you make the case for Army +6 Saturday?
I like Army here. When these teams face non-service academies, the teams are the opposition's going to be a little bit have difficulty perhaps defending that unique offensive that option offense. And when these two teams play one another, though, you have that familiarity aspect. They see it every day. They don't fall for the eye candy. So I think a 6.5 point spread in this type of game is a little bit different than in most games. Blake Harvath, the quarterback for Navy, he's been sensational for the midshipmen. He rushed for over 1,000 yards for the second straight season. He's thrown for almost 1,400 this year. Army quarterback Kel Helms, almost as good as Harvath. He's rushed for 1,078 yards, 4.1 yards per carry. In his last 5 games, man, that guy Helms, the quarterback for Army, has been a workhorse, 31 carries a game on average. What it comes down for me here is this is kind of a underdog series. The underdog 10-4 against the spread in this series, the last 14 meetings. I like Army +6 over Navy Saturday in Baltimore.
Thanks so much, Paul. We appreciate the time as always. Good luck this week.
Hey, thank you guys. Good luck to everyone out there.
Pizzeria bets next. Wait until you hear it. Books offer this, by the way, a lot of them. A 350-1 shot that looks great right now.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We do have cup games tonight in the NBA. One game just started in Orlando. Miami and the Magic going at it, and Miami is out to a 5-0 lead here in the first 90 seconds of the game. Did they close that?
Orlando closed 1.5.
Okay, so they took did flip, and they even went up a little bit more. Okay, so both these teams going into the game. Miami lost 3 straight, including, Paul, they lost by 16 at home to Sacramento.
Yeah,
what was that?
That was shocking.
However, for the Magic, there is no Franz Wagner. He's going to be out. They're saying it, 2 to 4 weeks. They did get Paulo Banchero back a couple of games ago. And now it's 8-0 Miami. Out to a quick start here. We'll see if they keep playing at this.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. And make it 10-0 now. I think that's a basket by Hero and a possible and one. So if you want Orlando, by the way, now is probably a decent time to hop in live.
Winners come out here Saturday, 2:30 Pacific and 6 o'clock Pacific. The thinking is by some that it's going to be more of a playoff type feel. Plays defense, the money on the line. Orlando opened 237.5 down to 234.5. And the late game, Knicks and Raptors 231 down to 226 with that total. The Knicks opened 3.5. They're up to 5.5 in that game.
Yeah. So right now the Heat are a 4.5-point favorite. Just like that in the NBA. Human says this all the time, specifically in this league.
I agree with him.
Right? Especially when it's around a point or a pick 'em, that you're going to get a much better number. And this game's not even 2.5 minutes in. And now Miami's up 13-0. You can grab 5.5 with Orlando. Like, they'll make a run at some point, right? It's going to be a typical NBA game, I would think. Unless it's just going to be turned into a 60-point blowout, and that's it.
13-0.
Yeah.
My God.
Total up to 238.5 now.
Oh, man.
He can't miss to begin the game.
Yeah.
Another basket by Hero. And there's a quick timeout by Mosley and the Magic. Good Lord. What a start there.
Give me your take on the Knicks. What do you think so far? 2 seed, blessed by the schedule, 13-1 at home. Hardly played any road games.
I think they can come out of the East.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, Captain Obvious, hello. But how many teams in the Eastern Conference are better than the Knicks?
I think the Celtics thing is fake. It's obviously not sustainable, and it's just everything's going in. They're number one going back in offensive efficiency, and it's just
they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're a game and a half back of the Knicks. I doubt that's going to be a thing for the entire year. If it is, good for them. But I'm with you on that. Like, how many? The Pistons, are they better than the Knicks? I know this. They were robbed last year in that playoff series. Horrendous calls by the referees. And I thought the Pistons should have won that series. And then I thought they were live in the next series against Boston. And then Tatum goes down with the injury. So who knows?
Would you trade for Giannis?
1,000% no way.
You wouldn't?
Not a chance.
What?
Okay, Paul, make it work for me.
It's Cat and OG.
And
probably some, I don't know how many picks you have.
A lot of picks.
No, not a lot.
Then the answer is no. I'm not trading him.
Well, if the guy's, you're going to do the guy a solid. If the guy's going to say, listen, I want out, they're going to help him out and probably help him to his destination. It's not like going to get, you're not going to top that deal other than a treasure chest of picks from other organizations.
Giannis, if he took 2 seconds to think about the deal, would say, you're going to trade back Karl Anthony Towns, Anunoby. It's going to take more than that. The Bucks would be have to be drug tested if they would trade Giannis for those two guys. And then Giannis is going to say, wait, they're going to gut their entire team, and now I have nobody to play with other than Brunson? That's idiotic when I could go somewhere else like Houston or San Antonio or another team that would not gut their team and make it work, and I could still go there and maybe win a championship right away. No way, no how would I trade if I'm the Knicks. But it's James Dolan we're talking about here.
Well, we just saw what happened with Luka, too. And the haul, there wasn't a haul for Durant and other players. And I think that the days of the Bridges and the other trades and Mitchell, those days are long gone about all the crazy picks. The Gobert thing. I mean, how bad was that trade?
Well, then the Bucks just have to say, sorry, we're not going to make it happen. Can't do it. Because the Bucks should be set up for a long time if they trade this guy. You can accept nothing less. Can't do it.
Well, it's also what he's thinking as well. You made a strong case, but does he think, get me to the Mecca? And that's where I want to go. Remember the whole how Carmelo Anthony played that thing. All he had to do was wait. He had to wait like 6 more months.
Right.
But he was impatient, so then the Knicks gave up all their assets to get him when he was going to go there anyways.
So if they made that trade, and it's Karl Anthony Towns, it's Anunoby, and it's more than that, would you honestly think the Knicks could win the Eastern Conference this year?
Yes.
Paul, how?
He's a star.
What does that mean? What does that mean? That means
he's a top
nothing.
5 player in
so
the
you
league.
have 2 guys. It's a team game.
Oh, come on.
You're going to have 2 guys win the East?
Anunoby's always hurt, even though I like him, and he's better than Cat.
Oh, my God. What kind? No way, no how.
Come on. Have you watched how the Cavs are playing?
Yeah, they're not great right now.
Yeah.
The current makeup of the Knicks would have a much better chance to win the Eastern Conference than if they traded a bunch of dudes. And by the way, you're way light on the trade. You got to come to your senses here. It's not going to be Karl Anthony Towns and Anunoby.
Why not? Who else what is he asking for?
It's a horrible deal, that's why.
For who?
For Giannis.
You think the Bucks get robbed in that hole?
Yes, because again, the
man.
answer is there are 10 teams in the league that could come up with a better package tomorrow than that from the Knicks.
Oh, we disagree. I think you're nuts.
Okay.
Now, 18-2, by the way. What is going on?
Wow, we're not even 3 minutes in.
Oh, man.
They're now 6.5.
Yeah.
Now 7.5. And is there a spot you're going to want to hop in on the Magic here, expecting a run? The Heat are minus 270 to win the game now, all of a sudden. No, I don't want to see Giannis go to the Knicks under any circumstance.
Now, here's my point. You wonder if these guys pay attention to what's going on and then if there are rumors and how it could affect their play if that happens. But they're 5.5 tonight, 226 against the Raptors. And while the Raptors were a good story, I think now we're seeing, okay, back down to earth. And if the Knicks can take them out tonight. And Knicks against whoever wins tonight's a good matchup out here, too. And, the league is praying for the Lakers to win tomorrow because this is a Laker town, and that would be enormous. You said, you're probably right. Thunder against whoever wins the game with hopefully Wemby comes back.
Oh, if he's back, yeah.
But if it's Thunder against the Lakers out here, that'll be awesome.
Well,
and then the winners meet on Tuesday.
Yeah, if you get a semifinals of those two teams and then you throw in the Knicks, and, no offense to the Magic, but with no Franz Wagner, I mean, clearly the Heat are a sexier team. And with the whole Heat-Knicks rivalry that goes back, 25 years now, that's a pretty damn good semifinals in the Cup to get if they actually get that. Now, Knicks, again, they won 3 straight, 8-2 in their last 10. Raptors, as you said, it was a great story. And maybe it still turns out to be that way. But they've lost 3 straight, blown out by Charlotte. And I like Charlotte this year. But they're only 7-17 on the year. And then I think the story here has been how they were so good with the defense for, the first month, maybe 5 weeks of the year, then 123 to the Lakers, 121 to the Celtics. They played this Knicks team last Sunday in New York. They got blown out by 22. Now, the Knicks, again, only 3-6 on the road this year. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Because they've been so good at the Garden.
Yeah. Brown's done a nice job with the offense. I want to see the pace get better, though, as they're 26th in pace. That wasn't expected. They were supposed to push it. Brunson, Freak, Bridges, Hart. You don't think that team is nasty? Oh, man, I'm surprised at you.
Who's it again?
Brunson, Freak, Bridges, Hart. And the other guy, I'm moving two guys.
Again, you're not keeping all those players in that deal. Under no circumstance would the Milwaukee Bucks trade Giannis for Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby.
All right.
That's so lopsided that immediately goes down as one of the worst trades that you can get. That's not Luka for Anthony Davis, but that's a slam dunk home run for the Knicks to do that deal. And the Bucks would hang up immediately and say, try again.
Maybe they'll want to rebuild. Maybe they're not interested in all those picks opposed to not starting players coming back. Who knows what they think?
Yeah. That would be okay. There are so many other options out there that would, I think, work a little bit better. Hell, the Nets have a better package probably to throw at them than the Knicks do. They had 5 first-round picks this last year. Anyway, so I don't want to get too far down the hole. But Magic on a mini run. They trail 20-7 now. 7:20 to play here in the first quarter.
Let me sneak this in, too, with the line movement in college. The Michigan game opened 148.5. It's up to 156.5. So we mentioned earlier 4 straight games scoring at least 94 points. They are laying 18 now here at Circa against Nova. Nova's 7-1. They're not a tomato can. And then there was a 7-point move in the Dartmouth-Colorado State game. 158 down to 151, the total in that game. But this Michigan power rating.
Yeah, that's,
oh my God.
Wow.
Villanova.
I know.
18-point favorite.
Yeah. Derek Stevens on the program coming up next. We'll get a contest update from him. Millions, Survivor. He's the owner and CEO of Circa Las Vegas. Next year on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.